On a cool summer's evening, William was peacefully steaming along the line, hauling a train of heavy wagons. It was a train bound for the rural village of Spirits Hill. Although the residents had reliable bus services, they still depended on the railway for all their goods and supplies. Thus, the village's station, while devoid of passengers, remained with a new purpose. Often, goods trains would stop there, have their cargo unloaded, and leave the trucks in the nearby sidings to be brought back to the yards later. William was no stranger to these trips, but making one during the evening was a rarity. He didn't mind though. It was actually very refreshing to run under much cooler temperatures. He had just passed through Angel's Gate and prepared himself for the climb up the long gradient, with Spirits Hill lying at the top. He wasn't too concerned about stalling. He had tackled harsh gradients back when he worked up north. As such, he considered himself an expert. After all, there was only ever one case of a train stalling, that being of Sterling and Falcon, when they double-headed a goods train earlier in the year. Though that was less to do with the train's weights, and more so Falcon's lacking skills in teamwork. William wasn't too surprised, of course. No sooner had William begun rising up the hill, he quickly spotted something on the side of the line. A shape moving around. It looked like a person. When William looked closer, he noticed how small it was. A child? Instinctively, William brought the train to a gentle stop, as a small boy, who only looked around 7 or 8, gazed up at him. It was hard to make out his features, now that the sun was behind the hill, but he appeared to simply be wearing a black shirt and grey shorts, with short, dark hair. "What do you think you're doing out here, lad?" William asked. "Sorry," the boy replied quietly. "I was just playing around, but I got lost and now I'm far from home." William didn't know why, but there was something about this child's voice that seemed calm and chilling at the same time. It was then that he took a good look at the eyes. It was hard to tell, but they seemed off. Instead of usual eyes, they were just big black orbs peering out of the sockets. William tried not to think too much about them. After all, it was probably just the lack of proper light. "Well, where do you live?" he inquired. The boy pointed up the hill. "In the village, up there." "Well, you struck a bit of luck," smiled William. "I'm already up there now with this train. I'll give you a lift to the station, and the workers can help you from there." Giving a silent nod, the boy approached the engine's cab and climbed up. William heard his little footsteps behind him, signalling that he was on board. "Just don't touch anything," he quickly added as he set off. As William continued his ascent, he thought about what to say to his passenger. Being a child, he imagined how frightened he must be, being lost and away from his home and family. "I forgot to ask," he finally said. "What's your name?" "Alton," came the quiet reply. "Alton, I see. So, you go near the railway often?" he continued. "Sometimes. I watch the trains go by." "Do you now? You like trains?" "Oh, yes," answered Alton, with a slight hint of emotion. The boy's voice felt more unsettling to William now. It sounded like he was freezing, but that could not be possible, certainly not during this time of the year. He then concluded that perhaps that's just how Alton sounds. It would be a little rude to question him about it. "Not too surprised," he then chuckled. "We engines tend to attract quite a few little lads." He then looked up at the top of the hill as it got closer and closer. "Have you lived up there a long time?" A very long time. Must get a bit boring for someone like you, puffed William, now at the top and proceeding to the station. Not really, replied Elton. I've met a lot of people, and there's always something to do. Really? What sort of things you get up to? Just as he finished speaking, the goods station came into view. Ah, never mind. We're here already. Don't worry, I'll explain everything to these lot. William pulled up alongside the station. The workers stood patiently on the platform. "You're right, William," one worker said. "You're a few minutes behind." "Sorry," William quickly replied. "I found a boy at the bottom of the hill." "A boy?" exclaimed another worker. "Aye, found him by the line. Said he lived up here in the village." "A boy by the line?" came a voice. An older worker strode up, looking closely at William. "Is that so? Where is he?" "He's in my cab." Filled with curiosity, the workers walked up to the cab. They looked inside for only a few seconds before turning back to William. "Where is he?" one asked. William simply stared. "What do you mean, where is he? He's right there." The workers looked inside again, some even climbing up to check the tender. "William, there definitely isn't anyone in here." "What? That can't be right. I was just talking to him before we stopped. I heard him speak." Just then, the guard walked up. Everyone explained to him what was going on. "Is that why you stopped on the line?" he said. "I thought you were just trying to build up some steam before the climb." You don't think he jumped out?" William gasped. "If he did, we would have seen him," grumbled a worker. "What's going on with you, William? You gone nuts or something?" William was about to retort when the old worker spoke up. What did this boy look like? William recounted the boy's description as best as he could. When he finished, the old worker's face darkened. "And what about his eyes?" he ventured. William was taken aback. He almost forgot about that particular detail. "Well, I'm not sure. They didn't seem right. They were just black. No proper eyes were there. It might have just been the dark, but I don't know." The old worker then sighed heavily. "It's all right, William," he said, giving a reassuring smile. "I'll put in a report and we'll find out what happened to him. For now, let's get your trucks unloaded and you can get home." With that, the workers approached the trucks, leaving William confused and nervous. Soon, the train was empty, and after shunting the trucks in the sidings, William set off back to his shed. The old worker watched him pass the station, a look of worry on his face. "So, you're gonna report it?" inquired another worker. The old man turned to him and shook his head. "There's no point," he said. "We'll never find that boy." William was lost in his thoughts. He was beginning to question his own sanity. Perhaps he just imagined the whole thing? But why would he make up something like that in his mind? Suddenly, William went cold. Sitting on a tree not far from the line, a figure caught his attention. Although they were far from each other, he instantly recognized it. The short hair, the shirt, the shorts. William stared at the boy, this time getting a better look at the eyes. Sure enough, they were the same as they were before. Just black orbs looking back at him. The yellow engine said nothing. He turned his attention back to the track and made his way home as quickly as he could. Needless to say, William had quite a few restless nights after that.